Deciding whether to rent or to buy in the greater Denver area could be the most important financial decision that you make, depending on the stage of your life. So if you're a first-time buyer and you're wondering, is it better to rent right now or is it better to own right now? You're not alone. Denver's housing costs, rent levels, mortgages, and lifestyle factors, they all play into this choice. And the math is not as simple as renting is throwing money away. So today, we're going to break down what renting versus owning really looks like in Denver in 2026 so that you can make a confident decision which fits your lifestyle and your financial future. In April of 2026, in the greater Denver area, the numbers often still favor renting, at least financially and especially in the short term. Based on recent housing data, Denver's median home price sits right around $530,000 to $560,000, while median rent is around $1,650 to $1,900 per month, depending on the neighborhood and the unit size. This gives Denver a price to rent ratio well above 20. That means that Denver's looking more like a renter's market than a buyer's market right now, if you don't plan to stay long term or if you're just comparing the monthly costs. But the full picture has way more layers than that. So what does renting really offer? Renting gives you flexibility that buying simply does not and cannot. And that matters a lot for some first-time buyers. Renting, well, it often means lower upfront costs because there's no big down payment. Avoiding property taxes and maintenance costs. No responsibility for repairs. Easy mobility if your job or your priorities change. And for many first-time buyers, especially younger professionals, remote workers, or people that are new to Denver, this flexibility is a huge benefit. And while rent can go up over time, it still allows you to live in desirable neighborhoods without locking into a long-term mortgage commitment. Renting gives you freedom. Freedom from maintenance, freedom from big upfront costs. But wait, what is the real cost of owning a home? Owning a home isn't just about the mortgage. There are costs that most first-time buyers just don't think about. When you buy and own, you're responsible for things that renters don't pay. Property taxes, homeowners insurance, maintenance and repairs, possibly even HOA fees. Those ongoing costs, they're part of why Denver's break-even point, which is where buying becomes financially better than renting, is often calculated at roughly around 7 years right now. That means if you plan to live here for close to 7 years or more, buying most likely makes more sense. But if you think you're going to move in a few years, the math will likely still favor renting. Now, before we get into the long-term value and building wealth, why not smash that subscribe button? Give us a thumbs up and leave a comment below with your opinion as to which strategy you believe would be best for you. This is how we can improve the content that we bring you each and every week. Now, let's talk about the good stuff. Let's talk about building wealth. Here's the part renters don't always see. Owning builds equity, also known as profit, and that profit becomes real wealth. When you own a home, you make mortgage payments, and a portion of that payment goes towards paying down your principal. This is called building equity or profit. Another part of your payment goes to interest, and that interest is tax deductible. The combination of paying down your principal and getting a big fat tax deduction is what builds wealth over time. In fact, homeowners have a net worth that's 44 times greater than renters, 44 times wealthier. This forced savings component is what turns monthly payments into ownership. And it's a powerful long-term benefit that every renter misses out on. Now for the X factor, the single biggest factor in deciding whether to rent or to buy: how long you plan to stay. If you're planning to stay in Denver for at least 5, preferably 7 or more years, buying tends to make more financial sense because you have time to build equity and you can weather market shifts. But if your plans are uncertain, or if you're not sure life will take you in the next 3 to 5 years, renting keeps your options open without locking you into a big financial commitment. Put it this way. With a plan to live here for at least 5 years, buying and owning pays off. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room for a first-time home buyer. One of the toughest hurdles to buying is saving for a down payment. There's national research out there right now that shows there's a trend in place for about the last 10 years that first-time buyers have been delaying home ownership. The average age of a first-time buyer is now closer to 35 or even 40, and this is partly due to savings challenges. So while some loan programs allow down payments as low as 3.5%, you're still going to need funds for closing costs and you need to have reserves. So the smart move is to create a budget with a focus on saving as much as you can every month and then sticking to it religiously by having an amount go into your savings account directly from your paycheck each pay period. Renting gives you flexibility, but owning gives you roots, and figuring out which one fits your life at each stage of your life is key. Renting means you can try different Denver neighborhoods without commitment, and you can pivot if your job or your lifestyle changes. Owning, on the other hand, means planting roots. You can decorate freely. You can build long-term stability. You can potentially start a family, create long-lasting memories. Oh, and did I mention building wealth? Both options have real lifestyle benefits. The trick is aligning them with where you are in your life today. For perspective, renting equals flexibility and affordability, but buying equals stability, predictability, and building wealth. There's an old saying, numbers don't lie. And using a rent versus own calculator tailored to Denver, it can clarify everything. Our favorite mortgage advisor, Jared Hamilton of Guild Mortgage, he's got tools. And with his tools, he can evaluate your personal numbers and he can create multiple scenarios. He and his team, they're going to help you cut through general advice and then make a decision that reflects your long-term goals. So after all of this, which is the smarter move, renting or owning? There's no universal right answer to rent versus own. Only the right answer for you. So if you're considering buying and owning, please, please, please take the time to understand your budget, get pre-approved, think about how long you plan to stay, decide what matters most to your lifestyle, and yes, meet with a seasoned veteran realtor who employs an educational and consultative approach. After all of this, if renting still makes sense right now, that's perfectly okay too. It can be a smart financial and lifestyle choice. And if you want help figuring out whether you should rent or buy with real numbers and real neighborhood insight, just call or text me. My number is 720-320-2288, and together we can collaborate with you and create a confident plan. And remember, renting versus owning isn't about fear. It's about understanding, about planning, and about making the move that's right for you and your life today. Thanks for watching.